Hi all, I have another amazing game of pool Morphy to show you. This is against a player called Hart in 1854. E4 from pool Morphy. We go into a Scotch game, but actually a Gambit here with bishop c4. White plays c3, trying to accelerate development. Black did take, and now queen b3 looking at f7. Queen e7, white just castles here. b6, this might not be the best move positionally speaking, it's weakening quite a few light squares in black's position. Knight takes c3, knight a5. It seems technically the most accurate move here might actually be check, believe it or not, just to preserve the bishop here. Paul Morphy's move queen b4, there might be better here. It's not just about grabbing the bishop though, it's about getting a tempo of the queen on b4. Black's best move might in this position actually be queen d7 with a threat of d5. And in this case this might be an improved line, but still white stands significantly better here. An improved line for black, but nevertheless an advantage for white. But okay, in the game black just snapped off on c4. And we have a persistent pressure now on the light squares. Knight d5 is the immediate threat. Bishop b7 covers that for a moment. Rook e1, and again knight d5 is threatened. The knight's holding the rook here, so this is a real threat with the queen and king like that. Black castles queenside. Bishop f4. f6, more light square weaknesses. Rook ac1. Now with the threat of knight d5. King b8. Knight d5. This really forces black to play bishop takes d5. That c7 is under great fire here. So bishop takes, e takes, unveiling an attack on the queen. Queen d7, and the knight naturally wants to head to c6. So knight d4 with a menacing combination of the queen and knight coming in for the kill here. Black played knight e7. Now here is a very, very accurate move from Paul Morphy and very, very accurate follow-up, which takes account of the opponent's defensive capabilities and resources. That's the key point about it. It's not just the first move if you can guess it, it's the next move immediately after as well, and so on. What would you play here if you were playing white? So this is a great exploitation of light square weaknesses around the king. White to play, if I give you 5 seconds. Okay, rook takes e7, it's logical enough, but now you need to think carefully in this position. What do you do? If I give you 5 seconds here, what is the best, the absolute best attacking move in this position? Now, give yourself 500 points if you find this. Queen a6. It actually stops the defensive resource, queen b7. This is the key thing about it. If you played knight c6 check here, then there's king b7 covering the a6 square. White is only slightly better here actually. There's some compensation, white's better, but only slightly. The way Morphy plays it is without any defensive capability. Queen a6, stopping king b7, and the knight's coming in for knight c6. It's very difficult to defend this. You know, if king a8, knight c6, we're on a7. And that c-pawn's blocked. So black desperately tries c5 to get some lateral defense going. But now, after d takes, this pawn is a menace in its own right. If she goes to queen c7, the queen, then there's knight b5, looking at a7 and the queen. It's hopeless. So the queen goes to c8, but now black is losing a rook. Check. And can you see white plays, even with the queen hanging, white to play? Yep, c takes d8, pinning the queen, getting a new queen. Queen takes d8, otherwise the queen's going to be lost. But now knight b5 threatening mate. Queen b8. Rook c7, and there's no defense here on a7. Yeah, an absolute crushing attack here from Paul Morphy. It's a simple game on the surface, but he did factor in opponent's defensive resources. Nice exchange sack. Black did weaken the light squares significantly, so even with light square bishop, that had to be given up, further weakening those light squares, and they proved fatal around the king. Very neat games from Paul Morphy, and Fischer, described him as one of the most accurate players that ever lived. Well, especially for that era, very, very accurate play, indeed, demonstrated here. Hope you enjoyed it. Comments, questions, likes, shares appreciated. Thanks very much.